First story. Me 35 am struggling to understand emotional cheating. Do you guys consider one-sided emotional attachment towards my wife 34F from a person 32M consider emotional cheating? This happened 15 years ago. We don't know what is emotional infidelity during that time. Recently I am introduced to this concept of emotional cheating. During that time we consider, apart from anything physical, only sending romantic messages is cheating. Now came to know even giving and taking emotional support from other gender is cheating. Me 35, was in relationship not married, just dating, with the girl 34, for 2 years before marriage. During this particular period our relationship was in a 1-month break due to some misunderstanding between me and my GF. We were not talking. The girl went to other city for the job. There this girl was introduced to one of her distinct relative by her family to arrange stay and all, basically to help her out. The girl stayed there in their home where this guy lived along with their grandparents for initial 2/3 days, before finding a permanent stay. The guy had friendly conversation with this girl and he used to call and chat. All were friendly chats. During calls, this guy used to share his previous relationship issues he had, childhood traumas and all. This girl don't used to share any of her issues as she did not find any emotional connect with this guy. She just shown only her happy side but listened to his stories and offered little emotional support like everything will be okay. This guy is 2 years younger than the girl. After 1 month this guy proposed to the girl but the girl said she don't have any feeling towards him. He is also younger to me. I did not expect this from you as you are younger than me. So it is not possible. The girl started to avoid that guy's call thereafter. Then the guy called, if you avoid me I will commit suicide. The girl said do anything. It seems he has broken his hand palms with knife. But not attempted suicide, just hurted himself. Then the grandma called the girl and asked don't suddenly stop talking, please help him to navigate this. The girl explained she is already in a relationship. I did not tell you before because I don't want it to spread among our community. Our parents don't know about our relationship, please move on. Don't call me. The girl was not ready to talk like before as she understood he is attracted to her. She don't want to continue this friendship. She is taking only less calls. Then also the person called the girl and said if she avoided the call like this, he will spread rumor about the girl and do character assassination, and no one will come to marry her. Then the girl said you can do whatever you want to do and I can't talk with you anymore, and blocked the number and stopped talking altogether. She told everything with me after we started talking after the break. That was when this incident was over. She had told me about this guy before moving to the new city. In Instagram, this guy used to post every week about the girl cheated him, although he did not mention her name in the post. Me and my wife were discussing about this issue, whether it will fall under emotional cheating or not. She is saying one-sided emotional attachment that two from other side can't be counted as emotional cheating as she did not do any romantic messages sexting with him, and she gave this emotional support out of basic human courtesy. She did not expected any emotional support from him. I have checked some of their message during that time. I did not find any dirty messages except he used to send lyrics of love songs he liked to hearing. My wife did not reply to those lyrics. She said friends can share lyrics of their favorite song. She did not play it on those wordings. She just ignored it. He used to send the lyrics of the song. He liked it. Those are not his wordings. I did not share any lyrics, or I did not reply to those lyrics. What are your opinion on this? Do you guys consider one-sided emotional attachment from other side consider as emotional cheating? Second story. My GF, 37F, cheated on me, 47M, with her boss and is showing little remorse. Can there still be growth and healing? My GF and I have been committed to each other for over a year. It has been a beautiful relationship in so many ways, which has made the devastation I've felt from her deceitfulness even more painful. I'm a resilient human, but this has just crushed my soul. I've never been cheated on before. Is it possible to guide this relationship to a place of growth and healing? In June, she came home from a business trip and I could sense a change in her energy. In the month that followed, she seemed preoccupied and nervous. Then at a company barbecue, I noticed her boss acting very oddly around her and myself. I started connecting the dots and finally went to her about the sickening feeling I was having in the pit of my stomach. My almost worst suspicions were confirmed. Initially, she gaslighted me about my feelings, but after much insistence for honesty, she came clean. She went out drinking with a group of co-workers, including her boss, and ended up telling him, "I want you," and suggested that they go back to her hotel room. They then had a brief and unsafe sexual encounter in her hotel room. It was a singular event and seemingly not an affair. But here is the thing that seemingly makes this not a cut-and-dry total act of betrayal. She had been drinking heavily that evening and had also taken propranolol, anti-anxiety medication, earlier. She blames that combination for her behavior, saying she wasn't in control of herself and it was an accident. She also told me that parts of the evening she completely blacked out and can't remember. There is this one part that she shared that my brain keeps looping on and is especially gut-wrenching for me. She said at one point her boss was on top of her and she couldn't make out his face, meaning she was so intoxicated that she did not know who he was. I asked her about that and if she was scared. She said the feeling she experienced at that moment was confusion. I'm at a loss as to what to make of that. So because she is framing it as an accident, at least externally to me, she's not taking accountability in the way I need her to feel safe in the relationship. With no accountability, it's hard for me to believe she will grow from this and take all the steps necessary so that it never happens again. She doesn't see the transgression as the big deal that I do. I'm feeling anxiety like I have never felt before and haven't slept well for a month. She withheld the truth from me until I confronted her. She put my health at risk. Her remorse seems shallow. Is it possible to guide this conversation to a place of accountability, growth, and healing? Please be kind. I'm a real person. My GF had sex with her boss. Didn't tell me until I confronted her. Is using alcohol and anxiety meds as an excuse for her poor choices and is not showing the accountability that I need to see to feel safe in the relationship going forward. Her remorse seems shallow. Update. After some investigation, my boss has a really important question. Based on what she says about the level of intoxication, it sounds like at times during the hour or so she was incapacitated. My understanding of this domain, which is limited, is that if you are incapacitated, then you can't legally give consent. I asked her why her boss didn't recognize how intoxicated she was, and she simply said he was drunk as well. The other thing is that we have gone to couples counseling the last few weeks and the counselor fished for consent. She replied, "I don't feel like I was taken advantage of, if that is what you mean." So the net of it for me is confusion. Moreover, this is very nuanced. She did give consent earlier in the evening by saying, "I want you and let's go back to my hotel room." She remembers being in an elevator in the hotel making out with this married man. Then she said she felt like she time traveled and the next thing she knew she was in her room. She said she did not remember getting undressed. She says that later she does not recognize his face, but said they were not having sex at that point. During therapy last week, the therapist floated the question about rape. Not using that exact word, and my GF said, "I don't feel he took advantage of me if that is what you mean." I'm floating in confusion right now. Final, my GF said he seemed a lot less drunk than her, citing the fact that he could read a phone to navigate back to her hotel room and she could not. When I confronted him about cheating, he said I was less drunk than she was, but not a lot less drunk. He later said I was sloppy drunk. Here is what I have read about consent and drinking. Incapacitation means a person does not understand the who, what, when, where, or how of their sexual interactions. If someone is incapacitated, then they are unable to consent to sex, meaning that is part of the legal definition and how most universities define their policies. For the other person in that specific situation, the other person's level of intoxication does not act as a valid excuse for their action. In this case, I believe my GF was incapacitated, but the formal definition, for part of the hour, but not all of the hour that the unsafe sexual conduct took place. Third story. She can't even remember his name. 20 years ago, my wife was fucking another guy behind my back for at least 2 years. Pretty sure it was more, but that's all I can prove. I'm fairly sure he wasn't the only one. We had the conversation about I'm moving out, then. It took her less than an hour to come back to me and beg me to give her another chance. I knew in my mind that she would screw it up again, real soon, so I agreed, knowing I'd have the moral high ground to kick her to the curb when she did. Sadly for me, she didn't. Well over 20 years later, and either she hasn't done it again, or she's been really good at keeping it from me. Well, I should be glad of that, but I'm not. I really want an excuse to get the cheating bitch out of my life for good. For 20 years, I've cursed myself for that decision. Every time we have an argument, I wonder why I was so stupid. Every time she disrespects me, I tell myself I could have seen the back of her way back then. Every single day. For over 20 years. I've become very good at pretending everything is okay and not showing what I really feel. Then yesterday, another bombshell happens. Looking over some old home movies that a relative had taken at the time, immediately I see him in the video. Her reaction was, "Oh, there's what his name." Excuse me? What's his name? She genuinely couldn't remember his name. Only when someone in the video said his name, she said, "Oh, yeah, this his name." I can't believe it. For 2.5 years, you were screwing him behind my back, lying to me, cheating on me, and you don't even remember his name? Then it got worse. She put on another video of something that was a big moment in my life, a major achievement. Guess who was in the clip? Yeah, him. Her reaction? Oh, he was there, too. Yes, he was every fucking where. You invited him into our lives at every turn. You made sure he was always there. And you don't even remember his name. All that rage when I found out, 20 years of misery in the aftermath. And yet, you don't even remember his fucking name. I'm reliving all that betrayal. And you don't remember. Fourth story. Found out last night my wife cheated on me with multiple men. I, 31M, found out that my wife, 29F, has been cheating on me. I laid in bed next to her last night and saw that she was talking to someone on Snapchat. She quickly backed out of the app. And when I asked her what she was doing, she just said she was scrolling Facebook. I asked to see her phone, and what I saw kept me up all night. She was talking to multiple men, sending videos, receiving whatever they had to send, and telling them how much she felt great about their connection. Last week she went out with friends. After hours of no responses, her friend tells me that she got too drunk and needed to spend the night. I said thank you to her for taking care of her, and that was it. I had suspicions, but after everything we've been through together, I trusted her. Turns out she fucked her friend's BFS friend that she met that night, him. I'm very drunk currently because I don't know how to cope with everything. We have 2 beautiful kids together and I have nowhere to go. I have a great job making great money and she stays home with the kids. I can't live with my parents and I don't have close family to help. My closest family are my in-laws and I can't break the news to them about this. I'm too embarrassed to even let my friends know. She had gotten so close to these guys, it hurts. It fucking hurts to get blindsided like this. I've always trusted her, and she wants to fix things, but after years of being her punching bag and being manipulated, I can't go on, but I'm trapped. I don't want to abandon her or our kids. They mean the world to me, and are probably the only reason I don't go off the deep end. I don't know what to do, but I needed to vent this for my own sanity. Fifth story. Emotional affair or not? I, 33M. Found what I think might be my wife. 33F. Having an emotional affair. We also have a child, one toddler. We've been together for 11 years and married for 6. A little history on us before I tell the story. I had a very traumatic experience early in our relationship that made me not an emotional person, and it's always been a work in progress. Other than that, our marriage has been good. We've been there for each other through everything. Lately things have been very hard. She suffers from anxiety and depression, and I haven't been there for her emotionally at all. My wife is a teacher, and I recently found Instagram messages between her and her student's father. No text messages. Looked through her laptop. She hasn't been on for a while, so all texts are still there. I never ever check her phone, never had a reason, but when I walked in the room and she put her phone down, something seemed off. The student she had has a lot of issues, and some of the conversations were how he was doing. She would say things like, "You wasn't talk to, I enjoy your company." She then would say, "Can I trust you?" and opened up how she has anxiety and depression. She then kept trying to invite him out with her co-workers when they would go out, which she hasn't been doing till recently. Past 2 months, she never ever went out, always stayed home. She seemed so excited when she would find out that he was free to hang out, but seemed like he never showed up. One particular conversation that got me was when she asked what he was doing, and he said, "Come over for a drink at my house," and she said, "I don't know about that." She then said, "Well, I was going to crash on your couch a few weeks ago." Then said, "Ha ha ha, I would never." She claimed it was a joke. When confronted her about it, she said it was just for attention and someone to talk to. She said she kept it going because she liked the attention and related with him, because both of our children are having issues. I found out part of the conversation was missing, and she then admitted that she deleted prior messages because he said he was devolving feelings for her, and she claims to have shut it down and said, "I'm happily married, this is strictly just being friends," and that why she deleted the message. She wasn't going to tell him that she was using him for the attention to fill this selfish need. I then read through text messages with her friend who knew about this and also does the same thing with her husband. And they were talking about how they are happy, they love their husbands, but miss the attention, and how it's boring and mundane, same thing day in day out. I saw a text also on February 27th telling her friend that he messaged her saying this, and she shut it down. The messages on Instagram started on February 29th, confirming that she could be telling the truth of why she deleted the message. These texts are long before I found out and couldn't have been written in case I saw it to just prove this wasn't something more. When I told her to ask him for a screenshot of previous messages that she deleted, including the one where he said what he said, and she shut it down. He said doesn't save his messages, and that he didn't like her like that, and when he did he checked himself. He said she told him how she was happily married, and that if it's causing a problem he will fuck all the way off, he doesn't want those issues. She deleted him. I kept telling her, well, what happened if I didn't see this? How far would this have gone? When would this have stopped? It should have stopped from other messages that were sent. She claims it would have never gotten that far or ever be anything. My anxiety is telling me there was something more and could have been. She is telling me there was never nothing there. It's stupid and selfish. She says it was just for the attention and emotional talking to someone. She is afraid of losing me because my coping method from past trauma is to shut down emotionally and just go through the motions. She is afraid I will kiss her and say I love her, but nothing will be behind it. Curious to see an outsider's point of view. We are currently going to see a marriage counselor. 6th story. Sister is cheating on her husband. My sister and I share a best friend. The best friend and sister are both women, while I am a gay male who just happens to have really good friendships with certain women. My sister told her best friend, who in turn told me, that she is having an affair. It is with another man, and it started long before he became a roommate to help my sister and her husband cover the cost of rent and bills. They do not have any kids. My sister figured out that our best friend told me this. I asked my sister point blank over a text to tell me the truth on if she was doing sexual things with her roommate. She told me yes, and that it has been going on for a long while even though things are calming down. I told her I did not condone this. I told her she had to tell her husband, and that it was best to hear it directly from her. She keeps making excuses about her lack of sex with her husband, how they're having other problems, etc. She says she'll maybe tell him eventually but not right now, as she is trying to work things out with her husband, even though the affair continues. She says it's once a month and calming down. I told her that cheating is cheating, period. I also said that all her work to fix things with her husband will be for nothing if she doesn't tell him the truth now. It would only lead to an even uglier divorce. I explained to her that I cannot keep this secret, especially since it's still going on. I told her that she needs to tell her husband soon, or I will. Her husband, my brother-in-law, and I are close. We don't talk anywhere near as often as we'd like as we live nearly 10 hours drive apart, plus busy lives, but we are like two peas in a pod when we are together, and we have no secrets from each other. He is a true brother to me. We bond over everything, especially our love of fine cigars and whiskey. I even officiated their wedding ceremony. It hurts me that he is being hurt in this way and does not know. I have doubts that my sister will tell him. Our mother says not to bite into this, despite my husband and another confidant of mine saying I need to let him know, especially since this is not the first time and is an ongoing affair. Both my mother and my sister will probably resent me for saying anything. Yet if she is caught or truth comes out somehow, and the bill asks me if I knew anything, I can't lie to him. I never have and never will. The fact that we also keep no secrets from each other. I just can't. I can't hurt my strong friendship brother. I never had relationship with my Bill. So what do I do? How long do I give my sister to confess to her husband before saying anything to him? Do I say anything at all? I have direct messages from my sister and screenshots of them as proof. I should add on that if I send an anonymous message to my brother-in-law, my sister will figure out that it was me. Lesson for people to learn. Cheating doesn't just hurt the spouse, it hurts the family and friends.